streets, and well-maintained streets support public safety and our economic growth, as well as housing construction and our overall quality of life in Lincoln. So we all know that streets shape how we move through our city, how our neighbors are able to connect, and how Lincoln grows. Last April, voters in Lincoln decisively reaffirmed the value they place on strong, reliable streets by choosing to continue our Lincoln on the Move initiative. That resounding vote of approval and support reflected a shared belief that investing in our streets is essential to Lincoln's future. So this morning we are so pleased to be able to release for the public the 2025 Lincoln on the Move annual report. The report demonstrates how the quarter-cent sales tax has delivered real, visible street improvements across all quadrants of Lincoln this year and during the previous 5 years of the program's initial phase. The progress in this report reflects the careful planning and day-to-day work of our Lincoln Transportation and Utilities team, and here to share more details about that effort is Director Liz Elliott. Director?
Thank you, Mayor. And good morning. We are here to celebrate a major milestone as we continue to create safe street infrastructure and a more connected community. Over the past 6 years, the Lincoln on the Move initiative has transformed our streets, neighborhoods, and city. During this most recent construction season, we completed work on Northwest 12th Street from West Adams to West Highland, and on multiple streets in the East Ridge neighborhood near O Street between Cotner Boulevard and 70th Street. We are also just days away from completing a major project on Pine Lake Road from 14th to 32nd Streets. We also began a street improvement project on South 40th Street from A to O Streets, which includes a water main replacement. We expect to complete that project early fall of next year. These projects build on the successes of the previous 5 years of our Lincoln on the Move initiative. Several highlights from the previous 5 years include, in year 1, we delivered 7 street projects, including improving existing streets in the Zeman Elementary School neighborhood north of Nebraska Parkway between South 48th and South 56th Streets, along with a project on North 70th Street from Colfax to Havelock. Then in year 2, we completed 18 street projects, including a project on West Holdridge from Northwest 56th to Northwest 48th, and on Huntington Avenue from 33rd to 48th Streets. In year 3, we delivered another 15 street projects across the city, including multiple streets in the Belmont neighborhood near North 14th and Adams Street, and also near Lincoln High School neighborhood in central Lincoln. In year 4, we completed 7 large projects, including growth projects like on South 40th Street from Tiger Lily to Rokeby Road, and improvements to existing residential streets like in Piedmont neighborhood near 56th and Randolph Streets. And then last year in year 5, we constructed 8 large street projects. 2 of them include the 11th Street corridor from South Street to K Street, and improvements on 84th Street from Pinedale to Sandalwood. These large street projects sometimes span more than one construction season because they take time to design, coordinate with utilities, and schedule in a way that minimizes disruption. The projects utilizing Lincoln on the Move Year 6 funds but are scheduled for construction in the future include 33rd Street, Fletcher from Superior to 27th Streets, 48th Street from Normal to Cotner Boulevard, South 27th Street from Nebraska Parkway to South Street, Vine Street from 66th to 70th, O Street from 9th to Centennial Mall, and 70th Street from Pioneers Boulevard to Van Dorn Street. Once all projects funded by Year 6 of Lincoln on the Move are constructed, we will have completed a total of 66 projects and 220 lane miles through the first phase of Lincoln on the Move. Thanks to Lincoln voters who approved the continuation of the quarter-cent sales tax last spring, we're ready to begin the second phase of Lincoln on the Move as we continue our commitment to safe, reliable, and high-quality streets throughout the next 8 years of the program. We want to encourage community members to check in on our street progress on our project's website at lincoln.ne.gov/projects, or you can now sign up for free text messages for updates on our larger projects. And you can always find ways around Lincoln construction projects by downloading the free Waze app. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Director Elliott, on the close of year 6, and we're so grateful for the work of LTU and our contractor partners. We also are thankful for the guidance of the Advisory Committee on Transportation. The Act helps us deploy these dollars in the most effective and efficient manner, and we are so pleased today that this 14-member volunteer body is continuing to dedicate significant time and energy to provide a real extra layer of assurance and oversight of our Lincoln on the Move street investments. And we're really happy that they are willing to perform this service for our community. And at this time, I'm really happy to welcome up to the podium ACT member Shea Svoboda, who will share a little bit more about how the ACT works and how they provide improvements to our streets through Lincoln on the Move.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Shea.
As a member of the Advisory Committee on Transportation, I've had the privilege of working alongside fellow residents, business leaders, and community organizations to help shape the direction of Lincoln on the Move. This initiative is built on listening, and that's exactly what we do. Every year, our committee reviews data, hears from neighbors, and works with city staff to ensure that street improvement packages reflect the real needs of our community. Whether it's feedback from public open houses, neighborhood meetings, or conversations with residents, your voices are at the center of this work. Lincoln on the Move helps the city to accelerate street improvement in ways that weren't possible before with typical funding. The quarter-cent sales tax has helped reduce a long-standing funding gap, allowing the city to make meaningful progress on projects that improve safety, mobility, and quality of life. Here's how the funding is invested. 73.5% of Lincoln on the Move sales tax goes towards improving existing streets that we rely on every day. 25% goes towards new street construction that supports the growth of our community. And the remaining 1.5% is directed towards the Railroad Transportation Safety District's street improvement project at 33rd and Cornhusker Highway. Lincoln on the Move is a true community effort, and I'm confident that the next 8 years of Lincoln on the Move will continue to be as incredibly successful as the first 6 years of this initiative. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Shea. You've helped to make it so, and we're really grateful to you and the other members of the ACT. As Director Elliott touched on earlier, Pine Lake Road is the site of a major Lincoln on the Move project that's expected to be completed by the end of the year. And we're so pleased to be joined this morning by Pine Lake Neighborhood Association President Ed Harris. Ed, thank you so much for being here, and we'd love to hear a few words from you about your experience with Lincoln on the Move.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mayor. Like many of my neighbors, I'm a proud resident of Lincoln. I've watched the area around Pine Lake change over the past 15 years since I moved in. And this latest improvement is something we've been looking forward for a long time. Thanks to Lincoln on the Move, nearly 1.5 miles of Pine Lake Road, stretching from 14th to 32nd Streets, have been upgraded, and the results are already making a difference. The potholes and standing water problems are now eliminated, and we are now driving on smooth pavement. Thank goodness for that. We are also enjoying fresh medians, improved storm drains, and new pavement markings that make driving safer and more comfortable. The work is nearly finished, and in less than 1 week, so they tell me, we'll be able to enjoy the full benefits of this investment. What's especially meaningful to our neighborhood is that this project also includes improvements for pedestrians like the dozens of Southwest High School, Scott Middle School, and Adams Elementary students who walk and bike to and from their schools along this road. With other funding, the city upgraded curb ramps to meet accessibility standards and added pedestrian push buttons to increase safety. On behalf of our neighborhood, I want to thank the city and the voters who made this possible. Lincoln on the Move is a promise to our community that we're investing in a better future, and we're proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ed. Thank you so much for your service to your neighborhood and for being here today to share your perspective on the project. we also have another special guest here with us today. As partners in city government, our Lincoln City Council members play a real key role in supporting street improvements. And here to talk more about the citywide impact of Lincoln on the Move is Lincoln City Council member Benny Show. Councilmember Show.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you. As an at-large member of the Lincoln City Council, one of the best parts of my job is getting to attend events across the city of Lincoln. I hear what's on the minds of community members at each one of those events. One topic I consistently hear about is our streets, and in particular, the Lincoln on the Move initiative. Sometimes residents talk to me and they share their frustration with traffic delays by construction. But when the improvements are finished, they tell me something else. You know what they tell me? As commuters, they tell me how a smooth street improves their drives to the office. As business owners, they tell me how customers are now able to access their stores more conveniently. As parents, they tell me how grateful they are that they have safe routes to and from school for their children. And of course, residents tell me about which streets need to be fixed next. The value of Lincoln on the Move is clear, and freshly painted lines on new pavement is clear as freshly painted lines on new pavement. Residents across Lincoln are seeing the results up close and personal. Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you so much for your leadership, Councilmember Show. And once again, to get the most complete picture of our street improvement progress this year, please check out the 2025 Lincoln on the Move annual report. You can find that on our website at lincoln.ne.gov/streets. And just one other reminder that we're so grateful that our voters support this initiative, but by supporting Lincoln on the Move, we're able to draw upon revenues from outside the city. People who visit and use our streets who don't live in Lincoln contribute about 30% of these funds. So this is truly a win-win for our community. With that, we'd be happy to open it up for any questions from the media.
This is a question maybe for Director Elliott or maybe also for the Advisory Committee on Transportation, but we've had 6 years of Lincoln on the Move, and now we're going into 8 more years. Is there something that we learned from the first 6 years that we're going to apply to the next 8 years, or many things perhaps, or
Yes.
anything that stands out?
And Shay can add to this as well. I think with every project we learn and try to improve on those things. It's one of those of scheduling and spreading out projects, so we're not so concentrated in one neighborhood. That's something we'll be working towards next year. But also just making sure our engagement with the community and that they have a good understanding of the upcoming project schedules, that they can understand how this will impact them during the construction season and continue to work on that. But overall, I think the last 6 years have gone incredibly well, and we're looking forward to the next 8 years.
This is the 2025 kind of Lincoln on the Move report that we're talking about this year. Is this like available on the website? Can the public read this? And does it include info, like planning info about the next 8 years as well?
So this one really is kind of a wrap up of the last year. It is on our website as well as our previous Lincoln on the Move annual reports. We've done one each year of the initiative, and we'll continue to do this in the future. There's a little bit of information about the year ahead, but not a lot of details. We would encourage people to check out our projects page for the future projects that are coming their way next season.
Did you want to offer perspective on
Sure.
what's
Yeah,
at
the
stake?
only other thing I would add is I think when I talk to friends, coworkers, other residents, a lot of times you hear, as Benny mentioned, feedback about streets or areas of the city that they'd like to see improved. One trend that I've heard recently is that people often don't care what the funding source is for those projects. And so I guess if you're interested on seeing a particular area of the city, especially if there's a street in mind that you think maybe needs some improvement, going to that project's website, you can use the filters to specifically check the boxes for future years ahead and really see icons on arterial and neighborhood streets throughout the city to see maybe whether those have been programmed and been slated for 26, 27, 28. I think that's going through 2030 or 31. And so several years in the future. And so if you're interested in seeing that list of future projects, not just Lincoln on the Move, but all city street improvement projects, that project's website really is a great new addition.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And I'll just add that as we think about the future of Lincoln on the Move, we are looking for ways to leverage these dollars to support other really important priorities to the community, housing specifically. So stay tuned. We'll be sharing more about that in the coming months, about how we'll use year $1 from the Lincoln on the Move Phase 2 to accelerate housing growth. Okay. All right. Any more questions? All right, well, thank you all for joining us for this news conference to learn more about the incredible street work that's getting done, the progress we've made, and that we will continue to make thanks to Lincoln on the Move.